Remakes are generally not good, and the remake for the Mummy movie was no exception, regardless of the potential and the vision people had for it. After all, when The Mummy was released, Universal hoped it would kick off a huge new cinematic universe, bringing back its classic monsters. Instead, the movie struggled under the weight of its own ambitions. This movie not only seemed more focused on being a start to future monster movies than actually being a movie worth watching, but it also did not know if it was an action, comedy, or horror movie. Yet even with all these problems, one part of the film consistently shined: Sofia Boutella's performance as Princess Amenet, the resurrected mummy. Her work is not just good, it is perhaps the one truly successful aspect of the entire production. Boutella brought depth, presence, and a sense of emotional reality to a film that often feels chaotic, reminding us how much an actor can elevate their material, even when the movie around them is just bad.
Good girl.
She's definitely not a victim. She is Amenet. Amenet is a princess who's been promised to become pharaoh and has been deceived by her own father. And that anger, that sadness, she's transforming into power in order to get what she wants. And she goes and summons the wrong god, Set, who's giving her the power that she wanted, but then she's cursed for her whole life. And that's what she does in modern times. She goes after what she's been promised.
Princess Amenet, sole heir to the throne of Egypt. Pharaoh's kingdom would one day be hers to rule.
Not always, but traditionally, on-screen mummies have either been portrayed as slow-moving, hollow figures meant to evoke fear mostly through appearance, or fast-moving creatures that horrify you by being able to chase you down like a rabid dog. Sofia takes a completely different approach. She reimagines the mummy as a tragic, determined, and emotionally complex woman whose rage is rooted in betrayal and centuries of suffering. Her Amenet is not a mindless monster. She is a character with motives, desires, and a past that matters. Sofia seems to understand that the script gives Amenet only a loose outline, so she fills the role with her own interpretation, using expression, movement, timing, and emotional clues to build a character that feels far more developed than what is written. In many ways, she is the one who shapes Amenet into someone worth following. Her performance becomes a kind of storytelling on its own, enriching the movie in ways the screenplay completely fails to do.
I think psychologically I'm happy that I was able to play her with the depth that I was allowed to, because it could have been so straightforward, mean, mummy destroying everything, but I think luckily, Alex Kurtzman and Tom, Cruise would really allow me to explore something a bit deeper and sort of humanize her, which is, I love it coming from, having to be a monster to begin with.
Understood. Power was not given. It had to be taken. Amenet was reborn, a monster. Yet the pact for her sins, Amenet was mummified, alive.
One of the greatest strengths Sofia Boutella brings to the role is her physicality. With her background in dance and physical performance, she moves with a level of control and expressiveness that instantly sets her apart.
And, we had to work really hard on set. We did wire work, and I did wire work with Tom. He did all his stunts a few days before mine. And I remember coming back the next day so sore. I felt like a stone, because and I used to be a dancer, so I know what it's like to work hard and to feel sore in your body. But that was another level. And Tom's doing this without complaining. It was quite a process, but it was tough, but in a good way.
In a movie packed with special effects, it is her movement, not the CGI, that makes Amenet believable. And this is because Sofia used her body in several important ways. First, even when playing a decayed or supernatural form, she holds herself with a confidence and grace that hint at Amenet's former life as a princess trained to rule. Second, her movements mix fluid, almost ceremonial gestures with sudden, sharp attacks. This creates a sense of unpredictability that makes Amenet both beautiful and frightening. Third, small details, a tightening jaw, a sudden stillness, a slight tremble, communicate emotional states without needing dialogue. Finally, instead of fighting the heavy makeup and prosthetics, Sofia works with them, She bends, tilts, and moves in ways that emphasize the designs, making them feel like extensions of the character rather than decorations. Her body tells the story before she ever speaks, because Sofia's acting is all that is needed to bring her character to life. Sofia's vocal performance is another important aspect that she brings that adds another layer to Aminette. She doesn't simply roar or whisper in a generic monster voice. Instead, she shapes her tone and rhythm depending on every situation she is in. In scenes where Aminette tries to tempt Nick Morton, her voice becomes smooth and inviting, almost hypnotic. She makes her voice sound more seductive, and along with her body language, it brings life to the scene. When she speaks ancient incantations, her voice takes on a ritualistic quality that makes her feel connected to a world long gone. During moments of desperation or fury, she allows cracks or harsh edges to slip into her delivery, giving her voice an emotional texture that matches the character's suffering. Every single situation gets a different type of sound, and she changes her voice to fit the scene. This vocal range allows Aminette to feel truly alive, someone who can shift between threatening, seductive, commanding, and vulnerable.
When I kill you, you will thank me. I promise.
Now we can get into Aminette's design, which is one of the movie's most memorable visual elements. The intricate tattoos, the unsettling eyes, the bandages and markings that tell the story of her curse. But a strong design alone cannot make a memorable character. It is Sofia's presence that animates the look. Her facial expressions make the makeup and effects meaningful. A small smile becomes threatening, a wide-eyed stare carries centuries of rage. Even her breathing at times reflects her state of mind. Boutella allows us to see the person behind the monster, someone who once had dreams, ambition, and power. This combination of visual design and strong expression keeps Aminette from becoming a flat villain. Instead, she feels like a fallen queen whose tragedy is still written on her face. She brings the weight the story lacks, giving the movie a seriousness and intensity it otherwise struggled to maintain. The movie, as a result, feels more focused, more dramatic, and more alive.
It was a long process. We did 24 screen tests, which is a lot of screen tests to develop that. I think nobody wanted to do the wrong, wanted to have the wrong look for her, and it was important that we nailed that look, and I'm so happy, with what we ended up having. And one of the makeup we have is 6 hours, was 6 hours to begin with, and in the process turned down to 4. But all in all, it was, I could not play the character without that makeup on. As long as the time was in the makeup chair, as long as sometimes contriving the costume was, there was no way on earth I would feel like the character unless I had all this transformation. And how people looked at me and how people around me behaved themselves when I was under that makeup, and I could feel it, and it gave me the sense and energy to then play the role. Even though I wasn't looking at myself, I feel it, and I needed that process to get into the character in the morning.
The rest of the Mummy movie unfortunately does nothing to try to help her, as it struggles to balance multiple tones: action, horror, comedy, romance, and also tries to set up for future movies, which meant that there was less time and effort into making this an actual movie that can be enjoyed by itself. These competing directions caused all other characters to feel inconsistent and the story to feel rushed and unfocused. Tom Cruise's character swings between action hero and confused victim, supporting characters come and go without development, and major plot points such as Dr. Jekyll and the secret society that hunts monsters just appear suddenly without any of the build-up they need. As I stated before, this movie was more focused on being a launch pad for future monster movies that they end up sacrificing the talent that it had. And while Sofia did rise above all of these problems, that still did not manage to save this movie or even this monster universe.
It's Jekyll. Dr. Henry Jekyll. Evil is not. Recognize, contain, examine, destroy.
Sofia Boutella played her role with total commitment, as if she was acting in a far more grounded movie. Her performance has a clear emotional center, longing for power, resentment at her betrayal, determination to reclaim her destiny. Because her acting is rooted in these steady motivations, she becomes the most convincing and coherent presence on screen. Sofia Boutella's work in the Mummy remake shows how much an actor can bring to a movie, even a movie that doesn't fully support them. Her performance is grounded, expressive, and charged with emotional energy. She makes Amanette terrifying, tragic, charismatic, and unforgettable, often all at once. While the movie fails in many areas, Boutella succeeds in every one of hers. She brings depth where the script offers little, clarity where the plot becomes messy, and humanity where the movie leans too heavily on spectacle.
The world needs a truth.
Sofia Boutella's work gives the movie its most memorable moments and its only real sense of emotional resonance. The strongest aspect of the Mummy remake will always be Sofia Boutella's portrayal of Amanette. In this movie, she literally became the character, and through her movement, voice, expressions, and overall presence, she created a character who feels both powerful and deeply wounded, a figure you cannot look away from. She lifts and makes the movie better every time she is on screen, offering a glimpse of the richer, more compelling movie that could have been made around her. Even in a flawed blockbuster, Sofia Boutella proves how much a dedicated performer can bring to a role, turning an underwritten character into the movie's most memorable.
If you told me now if I want to spend like another 7 years with the Mummy, like that was a lot, for me. And even like Selva and Climax, I was like, I'm not sure. Like,